Hi friends, this is Monika from Monika Gupta Fine Art. Last week we talked about a few tips to get started with drawing and painting if you haven't been doing it but you really want to get your feet wet. So I hope those tips were useful. Today I'm going to talk about a simple tip, a very simple tip to improve your drawing, regardless of whether you are an absolute beginner or even if you have been drawing for a little while. I hope that this helps you, and give it a try and post in comments what you think about it and if you have any questions. So I'm going to share my tip using a simple apple drawing. A lot of time people who love to draw just don't feel confident about their drawing skills. They may feel that their drawings are not good enough, or it looks amateurish. And this is specifically true about, this is especially true for self-learners. A lot of people who have learned drawing on their own feel that way, and I have been like that for a very long period of time as well. So what I'm going to share today is a simple tip which, if you employ in your drawings, will immediately give a spark to those drawings. It will make it look like a high quality or a professional level. So let's take a look at this tip, and it's called Lost and Found Edges. So let's see how this works. So I'll start by drawing a simple apple, and this is how a typical person would draw an apple, including shading, but without using the technique of lost and found edges. And let's see how it looks like. So this is a simple line drawing of an apple, and I'm going to shade it, and let's just assume that the light is coming from this side. And how we would shade it is, since the light is coming from this side, then this side will be in the shadow. And you can use lines, you can use cross hatching, you can shade whichever way works best for you, but typically this is how you will shade it. So I'm going to shade a little bit here as well, and light is coming, I'm going to show it from this side, and this is also in the shadow, this is in the light, and then in the stem this side is on the shadow. So let's shade a little bit on here as well. Okay, I'm not shading it fully here in the interest of time, but and I'm just going to shade a little bit towards the edges as well, since it is farther away, and here somewhere it will be highlight, so I'm just going to leave this whole area white. So okay, so this is a very crude rudimentary apple, and let's see how it looks like. So now take a look at what we need to do if we were to use the technique of lost and found edges. So edge really just means the line defining the object. So all the lines we drew at first are the edges. And what I mean by lost and found edges is that we have to alternate between an edge that is lost and found. So lost edge means that you cannot differentiate between the two sides of the edges, and a found edge means that you can clearly differentiate between two sides of an edge. So let's sit down, lost and then found. Okay, and we have to alternate between these two. So you will see what this means, but let's mark as, let's say we want to mark, let's say this portion as found, and let's say we want to mark this here as lost, then we want to mark this as found, this as lost, this as found, this is lost, this is found, this is lost, and even among the tip, right, let's say we found that this is found and this side is lost. So as you see here, I'm alternating between lost, found, lost, found, lost, found, and the smaller you can make the edge that belongs to one category, the finer your drawing would look like, but then harder it becomes. So I'm just going to stick to this categorization, and let's take a look at how exactly what it means to use this technique of lost and found edges. Okay, so found, as I said, found means that there is a clear distinction between the two sides of edges in terms of values. Okay, so if this edge is found and one side we know is dark, that means this side needs to be light. So I'm going to leave it white as it is. But since this side is lost means that there is no distinction between the two sides of this edge. And since we know that one side is dark, so I need to make the other side dark as well. So I'm going to just add shading outside in an attempt to kind of obliterate that edge line so that it's not really very much visible. Okay, so then I'm coming to a found edge, and here it is dark, I'm going to leave it light. This is lost edge, and here it is a medium value. I'm just going to leave it medium value with little bit of shading, but not too dark. This is a found edge. I'm going to leave it as it is because here you can clearly see the distinction between two sides. This is a lost edge. However, this side is already light, so I'm not going to add any shading on this side because this is also light. This is a found edge, and this side is light. So to make a difference, I will need to add shading on this side. And similarly, let's take a look at this is lost edge. Here it is light, so I'm going to add a little bit of shading here. You can decide how much shading you want, like how farther the shading you want. It usually decided by the background or the full context of your drawing. But if you play with some variations, you will get the hang of like how much do you want to extend the shading to be. You could, in this particular case, you could even just say that, okay, if light is falling from this side, then maybe this becomes the shadow area. So you could actually create it like a shadow of the apple itself as well. And I'm just going to still leave this thing, a little bit of light area because I want to make that edge to be found, but I can still extend this one and merge this two as well to make it like a shadow of the apple. Okay. So let's take a look at what it looks like. The other thing that I will do is the lost edge. I'm really going to make them lost. So I don't want the edges to be like standing out so much. It could be a very light line, or it can be like, just remove it if like, the both sides are light. I don't even want to see that edge because this is supposed to be the lost edge. Remember that we don't have to draw every single line. Our mind basically conjures the missing pieces, and that gives an interest to a drawing. So I'm going to, obliterate that, and see, you can still see that this still looks like an apple. So let's take a look at what difference it makes to the drawing. So this is before and after. I hope you like what you see and give it a try.